Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. Today I've got multiple huge stories for you, from official AMD news on high-end Navi, 10 nanometers is finally here, and Intel plans to release competitive budget discrete GPUs? What? But first, not all mobile RPGs have to be cartoony and cutesy with today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, a free-to-play collection RPG that takes you to the world of dark fantasy and realism. It's amassed nearly 10 million players worldwide in only 3 months, and it's obvious to see why. There's so much to do, from collecting up to 400 different champions with over 1 million build possibilities, a fully voiced campaign, PvP arena, and some amazing graphics. I mean, check out the details here. With a near perfect score from over 200,000 reviews and the new daily login rewards, what are you waiting for? Head to the video description, click on the special links, and you'll get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today we have a big story from AMD. That's right, not a leaked benchmark, a random rumor, or anything like that, but an official response straight from the company's CEO on Navi. During a Q&A at the company's Q2 earnings call, Lisa Su was asked about high-end 7nm Navi GPUs, and she said it. Quote, "You should expect that our execution on those are on track, and we have a rich 7nm portfolio beyond the products that we have currently announced in the upcoming quarters." Now, obviously that doesn't give us much, and it doesn't mean they'll be called the 5800 XT or 5900 XT like I probably titled this video or put in the thumbnail, but that's really just a placeholder so you know what I'm talking about. With that said, because we know they have a quote rich 7nm portfolio, they really could be the names. I say that because if you remember in a recent video, I discussed a slew of EEC filings by Sapphire, and at the time I assumed they published so many because they didn't actually know the names, so they were basically covering all their bases. Now it seems AMD could actually be releasing quite a few products. Of course, a quote rich portfolio is also marketing speak and could be referring to something other than gaming GPUs. But when she stated quote our execution on those, she was referring to gaming GPUs because that was the question. As far as when we should expect anything, I'd guess pretty soon. I mean, we know AMD is planning to go 7nm plus next year, and when they're planning to release GPUs annually, AMD doesn't have much time left. Plus, with the filings, more Navi and a Linux driver, Comanche's awareness of Navi 12, and rumors of EOL status on the Radeon 7, though I'll quickly say that during research for this video, AMD actually responded to this report, but it didn't really answer anything. Either way, I'd expect to see them in the next few months. Next up for today, Intel has finally launched their 10th generation 10nm CPUs. Now, they're just ultrabook processors, but it's the start of finally getting a completely new architecture from Intel, which is always a plus. It also tells us a couple things that should translate into desktop. For one, they didn't add an extra digit to the naming scheme. Instead, it seems they moved the 0 from the end to the front of the 1, which means the recent 10th gen desktop rumors are likely just that. So instead of, say, the 9900K, it'll likely be the 1090K. Personally, I do think it's smart, though it will make things a little confusing. When it comes to the actual specs, Intel released 11 new mobile processors with a maximum of 4 cores and 8 threads. As far as frequency, it does seem the clocks have gone down, but because this is a new architecture, I really don't want to declare anything until we have performance numbers. Probably the most interesting thing will be testing out the new Iris Plus GPU. We saw some early benchmarks that made it look insanely good for an ultra-low power iGPU. But forget about ultra-low power integrated GPUs, because in today's last story we got some big news on Intel's upcoming discrete graphics cards. For those who don't know, Intel had a Create event at SIGGRAPH 2019, and while there were some interesting things said, the biggest news came during an interview with Raja Kaduri. During a discussion with the Russian YouTuber Pro High Tech, Raja Kaduri was asked about Intel's future discrete GPUs, which are set to launch in 2020. His answer has got to be the most non-Intel thing I've ever heard. He said that Intel plans to initially release a mid-range GPU for just $200. Not only that, but he actually said they want to follow AMD's lead on what they did with the RX 480, a GPU that I honestly think was the real start of AMD's success in the mid-range market. Now, one thing that's a little disheartening is that they apparently plan to launch a full lineup of GPUs. Well, that part isn't the disheartening part. It's that he plans to do it with a common architecture. That's actually a little ironic because in my opinion, the same concept is one of the main things that held AMD back in the GPU world. And obviously they agree because that's why AMD introduced RDNA. Simply put, you have to make compromises when creating a one-size-fits-all architecture instead of building exactly what you need for every segment. Still, Intel has some of the best engineers in the world, and I think it'll be great to see such a big company jump into the market, especially when their goal is the budget mid-range market. Let's just hope they understand that unlike CPUs, Intel is new here, and they have a lot to prove, so the name shouldn't bring any kind of premium to their products. So while that does it for today, what did you think of the news? Excited for AMD's new high-end GPUs, or are you hoping Intel of all companies could bring the prices down? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.